I would probably say, again, confidence is key. If you don't portray confidence, sometimes I'm sure you heard the saying, fake it till you make it.
Yep. Before we get into today's episode, if you want to get 2 weeks of Service MVP totally free, get the 2-week trial of our MVP Club. It's a new program that we're just starting out, and you get 2 weeks totally free, risk-free, cancel anytime that you want. It's going to include video content. It's going to include the audiobook. It's going to include a ton of stuff that's going to help your business grow like you would not believe. So if you want to get 2 weeks totally free, risk-free, cancel anytime, click the link in the description. We'll see you there. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Service MVP podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Ethan Ralphs, and we have a great guest here again, another attendee of Total Immersion. We had another one last week that we were interviewing with, and so I'm really excited to get another Total Immersion attendee perspective on everything. Welcome to the show.
How you doing today, man?
Doing good.
I'm Zach. I work for Woodfin, your home team. Basically, a little bit of what I do. I'm an electrical service technician and the electrical team leader for Woodfin. So basically, kind of like day to day, I'll break it down for you.
Yeah.
I do a lot of interpersonal connections with all of our technicians at the company. I started when I was about 16 years old in the industry.
Yeah.
My father, he was a master electrician. I come from a family of technicians and stuff too. My brother Chris, he started at Woodfin at 16, just like me, as a master HVAC technician, and moved himself up through the ranks. My brother Justin, he's a master plumber as well. So I came from the trade industry, started really young, working with my dad when I was probably 7 years old, moving tiles. We did a home restoration company when I was a lot younger. But Woodfin, they've been great for me. I love that I get to kind of get hands-on with all the other technicians on a day-to-day. And I built really good relationships along the way too.
That's awesome. It kind of sounds like some form of this was always in the cards for you.
Yeah.
So whenever that happens, I think it's interesting where you've got on one side, you've got people who feel like they've been forced into something. And on the other end, you feel like people have been miraculously dropped into something that they were always meant to do. Yeah. Where do you fall on that? And where do you find your passion within the trades?
Oh man. Well, I wasn't really pushed too much into the trade. I like to say the trade kind of found me. So, I mean, from a young kid, I was always building Lincoln logs or Legos. I was never really, like a tablet kid, like people would say nowadays. But yeah, I mean, it was really cool. It was always, I learned that anything that I want to get in life, you really have to work hard for it. My whole family, they were born and raised in Philadelphia, and not in the best area, right? So I've seen my dad from a young age working really hard, trying to provide a better life for the family. We ended up moving to Richmond, Virginia, and my dad started his company. He got us involved at such a young age. He said, hey, if you guys want to be able to go out, if you guys want to buy a car or, have fun with your friends, you got to make your own money. So I learned that and kind of instilled that in my head very young. And let me tell you, it was a little bit weird as I was growing up because all my other friends, we lived in a pretty decent area, suburban area, and it always felt like I was always working to try to accomplish my goals and get everything I wanted to do. Some other people were more or less, oh, you don't have to, focus more on your education, your work, and your studies. But I was always very heavily work-driven. It was just instilled in me at a young age.
How was that working with family? How was the family dynamic there, especially from such a young age?
Oh, man. Honestly, it was really fun when I was a kid. Most people say don't mix family and business together, right? So my father's company, he ended up retiring. He got injured and retired, so I took care of him a lot at the house. My mom would work. She works in the trade industry too, as more of a corporate setting. But it was cool to sit down and really kind of work and build as a group, because your immediate family, they're always going to push you to do better. And they always look at, what's best for you at the end of the day. So they never really pushed me and said, hey, you have to do a trade. But seeing that methodology kind of work out over time, my brother moved up and now he's one of the head managers at the company. I was like, wow, well, this methodology works, right? You start from a young age, you go into schooling. Luckily, I grew up in a good public school system where they sent me to a trade school immediately. I know a lot of other jurisdictions don't really do that. They really just push the college mentality onto you. I fell in love with it. Let me tell you, I hated high school, But anytime I went to tech center and trade school, that was the best day. I would never miss a day at tech center.
Yeah.
And my family just really pushed me into, do what's best for you. And I could just see the result of it. They all made great lives for themselves. Yeah.
That's amazing. So one like kind of distinction that I know that there is out there is you get into the trades, and like what you were saying is you love it. You love working with your hands. You love working with the people. You love doing all that stuff. And then the flip side is then we get people who come to total immersion, and then you start talking about sales and you start talking about all that stuff. And I can feel like a resistance to that. I can feel, okay, people are starting to back away.
Right.
Where have you found kind of your middle ground there in still being able to love the trades, but also incorporating the sales aspect of it?
Right. So that's a really good question. As far as it goes, I was never, especially growing up around my dad and seeing how my brothers did it for years, I was never thinking of myself as a salesman. I was always fix the problem. Exactly. Yeah. I was always like very problem oriented. Almost, of course, now that I learned, Joe's teachings, it's completely different ball game now. I was always rushing directly towards the problem, would address it immediately to the customer and just give them that base level solution to fix that problem. And I would never really dive deeper into the system. You do, but you don't present it as, the health and safety for the family and giving them the best possible solutions for their situation.
Yeah, which I get. I totally get. I understand where that comes from of, I want to jump in there. The thinking the best thing for this family is going to be, one, save them $1, two, whatever they ask for, get that done as quickly as possible, and then get out of there and get out of their hair. So beyond that, tell me about that mindset shift that, probably a lot of people out there still have to have.
Right.
Tell me about why I get on the surface level that makes sense as quote unquote best solution.
Yeah.
Why is that not?
So I think that most people really don't look for the better solutions for the overall system because, first of all, call volume's a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
So when you're involved with a big company, you may have, 12 calls that day. So most people are thinking, fix the problem, fix the problem, fix the problem.
Yeah.
And they don't really kind of dive and expand on the personal relationship with the customer. That's the biggest thing. I love talking to people. So before I got into a service level job or a trade job, I worked in restaurants. And I loved every minute of it, man, let me tell you. I would talk to everybody that was there, always tried to build a little bit more of a personal connection with the people.
Yeah.
So when I go in people's houses and I think, oh, there's another one, I'm thinking, oh, let me get in here, fix the problem as quickly as I can, and try to move on to the next job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing, though, is not everyone is as charismatic and as, as wanting to talk to people as you are. For those people who are a little bit more closed off, the people who just want to put their head down, get the job done, and then head out, what's some advice that you would give to those people who aren't as sort of naturally outgoing as you are? We were talking earlier that you aren't as nervous for graduation. I'm talking to people here all day who are coming up to me and going, man, like graduation's tomorrow. I'm super nervous. I don't know if I'm going to graduate, like all that stuff. And then you came in here and you seem very confident about it. What's some advice that you would give to those kind of guys? Well,
I would probably say, again, confidence is key. If you don't portray confidence, sometimes I'm sure you heard the saying, fake it till you make it.
Yep.
So when I was starting super young in the trade, I always had a chip on my shoulder because everyone's looking at me like, they want you to step up and climb that ladder super quickly. And that can be something kind of intimidating to someone who's 16, 17 years old getting into the trade for the first time, especially if you haven't had the experiences talking to full-grown adults and you're still, a kid and you're trying to tell them what's best for their situation in their home. You have to kind of overcome that leap and think, what is really best for the customer and what's best for me. If I don't go ahead and break out of my shell and show that confidence, then I'm not going to improve in my career. So that's one important thing. A lot of people never get that confidence or they're never kind of pushed to establish confidence in their life or in their career. And you kind of stay stationary. So if you want to move up and you want to do better things, you always got to show good sign of confidence.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you, what are some practical things that someone who doesn't have that confidence can do to practice? But I think you said if you're not pushed into that.
Right.
What is, so I'm going to modify my question a little bit of what is the role of leadership to then take those guys who are 16, 17, who are nervous about talking to someone who's been living in their home for 30 years and, all of the pressures that come with that. Tell me about the roles and responsibilities of leadership to help those guys out.
So I think what I pride myself, because of course I'm still a very young and growing leader. Yeah. I'm only 23 years old, so it's one of those things I've been kind of growing along the way.
Yeah.
But I think what works best for me and at our company is we always like to give guys a chance, and I was always kind of sink or swim mentality. So I think the best way of learning, or how I learned, throw yourself into an uncomfortable situation.
I love that.
Being uncomfortable is going to make you a better person at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And most people, they shy away from being uncomfortable. Of course, in the service industry, we go to people's houses to make them more comfortable, right?
Yep.
So being uncomfortable, kind of trying to build yourself from that base level of having no confidence, and you put yourself in so many uncomfortable situations or challenging situations.
Yeah.
And then you end up growing, breaking out of your shell from there, especially the challenge on a day-to-day. A lot of people want, you ask them, what do you want your job on a day-to-day to look like? A lot of people aren't like, oh, I want the most challenging position possible.
Yeah.
Most people shy away from that. I've always wanted that challenge because when you overcome it, it makes you feel a lot better, right? It's more rewarding at the end of the day.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I've also found a lot, especially for young guys who are, early 20s, even earlier than that, who are, looking for these challenges, but they're not seeing them pop up necessarily.
Right. Yeah.
I think a good thing too is talking to your leadership, talking to your owner, to managers, all of that stuff, and coming outright and asking, hey, what is a challenge that you have coming up that I would be able to take on? I think that's a huge first step. Has that been at all a part of your career and your strategy, is asking for those opportunities?
So when I was 16, I'd always go to my manager, and my original manager at the company, he was a very good guy. He had an interesting management style, so he was a little bit more closed off and reserved. So my whole entire challenge, my initial starting at Woodfin, was let me try to break this guy out of his shell and get a little bit more personality out of him.
That's the opposite of what usually happens.
Exactly, yeah. So I've always been outgoing at 16. I don't care if you're, an 80-year-old guy. I'm going to sit down with you. I'm going to have a great conversation with you. So when I was talking to my manager, I'd always come in after a hard day. I was the apprentice, right? So when I first started, I'm covered in, fiberglass and, my pants are soaking wet.
Yeah.
And I come in that office and say, hey, man, I'm ready. Whenever you give me a truck, I'll step in. So I'm 16 years old. This guy's probably like, man, you're crazy.
What are you doing?
Yeah, you don't know what you're doing yet. Yeah. So I kept doing it. I mean, it was probably every single day. I'd come in and just say, hey, man, I'm ready to go. Whenever you are. Give me the keys to the truck and I'll rock and roll. And I think you almost have to put the bug in someone's ear and they start to think of you, right? Well, when an opportunity comes up, or say there's an issue that no one wants to take care of, be that guy, raise your hand and say, hey, man, I'll take care of it for you. Yeah. Because then they think they're like, oh, well, that guy's a problem solver. He wants to go out there and do it. Yeah. So we have on call at our company, emergency service. As soon as I turned 18, that's the restriction, of course, for insurance to be able to have a van. They threw me the keys on my birthday and said, hey, go ahead, sink or swim.
Yep.
And I said, oh, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it was my opportunity to kind of prove everybody wrong, right? That you don't have to be
for sure.
a seasoned 20-plus years of experience to go ahead and provide a good service for people.
Yeah.
You really just, again, personality and know what you're looking for, so you have to have the base knowledge. But I had such a good support system, too. I had guys who were 15, 20 years older than me that were almost like father figures, right? Because you're their apprentice for so long, and you work with them more than you see your own family.
Yep.
So they kind of always had their phone available for me to give them a call, talk them through basic problems if I ever was stumped on anything. And it just gave me a better overall experience and gave me more confidence when I was talking to the customer.
Yeah, I love that. And you were mentioning all those, it doesn't happen the first time. You mentioned how many times you went into that office and asked for those opportunities, how many times you had to we'll call it bother people, but it's, reaching out and asking for those opportunities from people. I come from a marketing background, and that's one of the staples that we always say is, you need, someone needs to interact with you 6 times before they're going to come to you organically. So you need to be able to reach out to them 6 times. And I've taken that philosophy just kind of into life in general, to where for those opportunities, it's not going to be the first time. You got to go in at least 6 times to the office until you're going to be taken seriously and actually considered for that kind of stuff. You're going to need to have those, like when you're having a conversation with someone, in order to get to know their name, people say their name 6 times in the first conversation. So that number 6 right there is very important. And it's not 1. No one ever says say their name once to learn it. No one ever says go into the office once to get a new opportunity. No one ever says go to 1 job interview. It's, you have to keep doing it over and over and over. Have you had anything techniques, I don't know if that's the right word. Have you had anything in your life that has kept you motivated to continue doing it over and over and over instead of just giving up after that one time? What is your motivation that keeps you going?
Oh man, that's a good question. I'd say my motivation, coming from my background with my family and where we all came from, my biggest motivation to basically was really to try to impress my family. I always had that chip on my shoulder. My brothers, I'm the youngest, right? So being the youngest child, you always want to catch up to their success. So not that I envied their success, but I wanted to be on that same level as them and garner that respect that they garner. So seeing where my family came from and thinking, what can I do better? I always thought, and my father always told me, you need to be better than I was. So that's stuck with me forever. I mean, as a kid, I always thought it, these other people, they have more than me. As people would say, fed by a silver spoon, right? So I always thought, I don't have that. And the most that I have is I have a loving, supporting family that has skills. How do I take those base level skills, that trade knowledge, and use it to propel my career and become more successful than my father or my brothers are So as far as it goes, I think really trying to use your base level experience as a child. My childhood was the biggest thing that really pushed me and motivated me to be better. Because if I have children in the future, which definitely a goal, want to have a family, I want to be able to provide them with an even more successful life than my parents provided me. I think that's natural though, right?
No, for sure. I definitely think that's a natural part of anyone's career, and especially in the trades, if we're talking electrical, plumbing, HVAC, a lot of people are coming into it and didn't have the father figure that was in the trades who they're going to be, and the older siblings who they're trying to catch up to. What is some advice that you would give to people who don't have those people that, like you, I think you said that you were kind of chasing after. What advice would you give those people as far as like mentorship or seeking that out?
So that's a really good one. If you're trying to find a mentor, really faith, that's one thing. If you can go ahead and if it's a pastor, a priest, whoever you can confide in, a best friend. I feel like I don't want to call myself a mentor. I feel like that's a little bit cheesy, but for some of my best friends who came from similar situations, who might not have had a father figure in their life or anyone that really pushed them to excel them to the next level, I've always tried to be that good role model for them.
Oh, that's awesome.
So try to find someone to look up to. I think there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I look up to my father because he did the best with what he was given to give me the life that I have now. But I mean, a best friend, a teacher. Luckily, I had a great public school system. Even though I hated high school, there was also a few teachers. Of course, you see, like I said, you see them more than your family. You see some of your coworkers more than your family on an everyday basis. Take one of those guys and really try to model their success level, and it will really push you to do better for yourself.
That's really interesting. I want to know what are some of the biggest difficulties for you in drawing that line of both being a mentor for others, but then also making sure that, like you said, you kind of caught yourself when you said, I feel like I want to be a mentor for others. I feel like I'm a mentor for others. I feel like that's a little bit cheesy though. So I felt that you caught yourself there. Where are you finding difficulty in both being a mentor, but then also keeping that mindset of continuing to learn myself and not say, oh, I'm the one giving the advice now. I'm the one who's there. I'm the one who's made it. So I don't need to continue having a mentor.
I think the biggest thing is when you are a mentor, you got to continue growing, and you have to keep that, especially in the trade industry.
Yeah.
You're learning on an everyday basis. Everything's advancing so quickly now.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at a code book. If you break down an electrical code book in my trade, it changes, every 4 years. It's a completely different spectrum of work.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly learning on a daily basis. I have guys who are younger than me, and I might even be their mentor, and then they can teach me something on an everyday basis.
Yeah.
So if you look at it through a different lens and you think of yourself, you could be the greatest mentor in the world, but there's always going to be someone who knows something that you don't. So always just keep an open mind, and try to learn from everybody. Any conversation I have with somebody, I try to gauge them a little bit and see if they can teach me something, because if you don't, then you're just going to look at everything through a narrow-minded view, and your viewpoint's not always the best viewpoint.
That's great. And I talk to a lot of guys about, especially in sales and what we're doing right now, and like we're doing total immersion out there where, we've got people who have been, an owner for the last 45 years of their HVAC company, and they're coming into total immersion, they're continuing their education, and they talk to me all day long about, a competitor down the street who opened the same week that they did, but the competitor down the street is not seeking any new information, and they're just getting lost in the dust within, like you said, 4 years, let alone 50 years of a company. So, I think that's a good transition into, you're here at Total Immersion. I want to learn what your experience has been like so far this week.
Yeah. So this week, let me tell you, it has been very interesting to say the least. It's a completely different mindset shift. So I had to really teach myself, how am I going to overcome this week in this new challenge, right? Basically a factory reset. Yeah. So Joe's teachings, the methodology that I learned here today, and the most important thing is I'd probably say like parts over service. That's one thing we've always prided ourselves over, going to the customer's house, right? You got 10 calls in a day. Yeah. Find the part that fixes the problem. That's it. Go to the next one. So trying to, change that shift and say, well, maybe we all need to take a step back and evaluate the customer's home as a whole. Yeah. It's a completely different ball game at that point. And what that's going to do, Woodfin, we have very good values, and I feel like a lot of companies, that can be cheesy, right? Where you really ride or die for your company. Yeah. And you're like, oh, their values are so important. But I've been working here for such a long time now, going on 7 years. One of my first, I'd call it big boy jobs, right? Yeah. And those core values of what Jack Woodfin's kind of instilled in the company, it's always been very family oriented. And I kind of thought, wow, well, maybe there's a lot more we can do to provide a better service for the family overall. Yeah. And we're kind of looking at it through a narrow-minded viewpoint. So this has opened me up, and I'm definitely going to bring back this good information to my team. Yeah. And especially the younger guys. When you're younger, you can shape people's mind a little bit better than you have an older technician who's been doing it the same way at the company.
Old dog,
for
new
so
tricks.
long.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think I'll be able to bring all that stuff back to them and really expand their viewpoint when they're looking at the home or looking at solutions for the customer.
Yeah, I love that. I think it just kind of hit me that whenever you're talking about your work and all of that stuff, you keep using the word we and not I. Yeah. And I think that's huge. And that the fact that you're probably doing that unconsciously, and that you're here and you're learning stuff for yourself, but then it's also in the back of your head, I'm sure, is, okay, what am I going to take home, and what am I going to teach the guys back home? What are some of the things that you're most excited to, as soon as you get home, like, hey, this is what we're going to be breaking down, this is what we're going to be reviewing. What are some of those things that you're excited about?
The best thing I think from this whole entire training course that we've been doing wrong for a long time is the 6 options. I think because we're so oriented right now on just getting the job done, give the customer the one solution, right? Yep. I think if we give them a larger spectrum of solutions for their home, people will be a little bit more engaged and not want to be so quick to shop the whole entire market if we're presenting the whole market on a silver platter for them. Yeah. So that's probably the best thing. Really the team orientation. So when we have somebody start at Woodfin, the training methodology is almost We're going to put you in the field. We're going to see how you do when you're with a quality technician, and you're going to learn from them.
Yeah.
I think I've learned a lot of stuff. I can give them a baseline for customer interaction. Because, again, a lot of people, they weren't like me at 16 years old. I do understand that.
Most 16-year-olds aren't.
Right. They didn't want to jump out and just start talking, having those conversations with the customer.
Yeah.
And I see that in some of our younger players that we have at Woodfin. And I think if we show them the baseline of, hey, how do you interact with the customer? Try to find those magic moments with them. And that will really get their personality kind of jiving a little bit better. And, I mean, those basic teachings right there, along with presenting the option of, hey, this may be a little bit too much for the time being for you. Let's shop some of the other options, because it shows that you're really giving them choices, and you're not saying, hey, this is the only thing that we're going to offer you. Take it or leave it.
Yeah,
you know, it's
absolutely
completely different.
For the people who might be listening to this who are familiar with, most people are familiar with the 3 options, good, better, best, and that whole system. Can you break down for me real quick, and for those people, what does the 6 option system look like? So
6 options, how we're going to implement it at Woodfin. So you're going to have your premium, like your Woodfin Legacy series.
I like that.
Yeah,
that's good.
So we got to find our own creative spin on it.
Yeah.
But for the, kind of mid-grade premium option, so you go from premium, your premium Legacy, your premium, your mid-grade, little bit less than mid-grade, right? Might not have as many add-ons or additional problems and solutions in the mid-grade option. And then your 2 economy options are going to be, of course, your base level fixes and repairs. But it's really important to me that we try to teach our technicians there's always more beyond the initial problem. And I think a lot of people, again, you get an older guy who comes in there, they find just the base level problem. And I was kind of the same way too. You're almost kind of nervous when you go in there and present and say, hey, I found all these other issues with the system. And it's not dishonesty, right? It's almost like, oh, I don't think the customer was expecting me to find other problems with the system. So you don't know how they're going to react, or they might take you as, oh, this guy's trying to sell me something, right? So I think trying to teach the guys how to present additional problems in the situation is really the most important thing.
Because especially if you do come up against additional problems, Pure Motives is going to tell you, hey, I need to tell these guys about it so that, they can spend a couple of dollars now, so that they don't have to spend a lot more later in the future. And I do see that as a huge hurdle for people is, coming up with a little bit of the discomfort now so that you're saving the family a lot of heartache later, and potentially a financial burden later that they're not able to handle, and like we say is, it's options. You're not saying, hey, I have to do this right now. That it's presenting them with the option, and then letting the customer decide what's going to be best for them. And, you as the service tech, you're there to give your advice. Obviously, if there's something that's just not going to work, you have to tell them, hey, this isn't going to work. Or at the very least, hey, this is going to be a Band-Aid solution for you. I understand that financially this is where we're at right now, but this is going to be a Band-Aid solution. We're going to have to deal with it later. So having that sort of grace in, it's not quite a tap dance, but it's sort of like you're maneuvering this fluid situation in order to get to the core so that customer realizes you're there to help them.
Of course. Yeah.
Is that, I want to know, as far as like techs presenting options, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you're seeing across the industry right now? Like if you have a young tech who's coming in to Woodfin, let's say they're coming in from a different company, what are some of the bad habits that you're seeing coming into the industry across the board?
I think the biggest habit that it seems like almost everyone in the industry has, I almost think it's kind of instilled in us as an instinct, is the customer communication above the base level options. So like I elaborated before, when you go in there and you're looking so narrow-minded on, oh, why does the breaker keep tripping? Oh, well, I can go ahead and reset the breaker. Well, what caused that breaker to trip? Is the customer running more appliances on that circuit than they really should that's rated for that circuit? So let's go ahead beyond that. You have a lot of guys come in and they're brand new in the trade, not just electrical, but they just go ahead and they flip and reset that breaker, and they go ahead and move on to the next one. I think if we really tried to break that bad habit of just focusing on that one tiny thing and try to say, hey, what else can we do beyond that with the customer?
Yeah.
What are you using? Strike up that conversation. Be more personable. And that's one thing a lot of these other companies, especially guys coming from, say they're coming from union work or commercialized side, they don't interact with the customer at all. It's shunned upon to even talk to the customer, or the builder, or the foreman on the job. You just do the work and you leave. So service, it's a completely different world.
For sure.
And trying to expand upon that a little bit more, when you go out there and you just reset that breaker, or say you just throw that capacitor in, if you break it down to the customer and say, hey, this other option here, this more premium option is going to offer you more longevity in the system. And if anything happens, right, the warranty, that's one thing I did want to jump into a little bit with you. I didn't add that on what I think I should bring back to the team. Adding more warranty options, because customers love it. When you break that down and show them and you say, hey, we're going to take care of you the whole life of this system, the 12 years that this system is going to be installed, most customers never get that option, but I know when they are presented with that option, I know I love a good warranty. I'm a big tech guy, so anytime I can get a warranty on anything, I'm putting that warranty on. So I know the customer, if they've seen a longer warranty and they know someone like Woodfin, we answer that phone immediately, and it doesn't matter what time of day we're going to come out for you. So if they have that warranty solution, we're going to come out there and we're going to take care of it. And then most people, they don't got to worry about it. They can kick their feet up, drink their beer, have fun with their kids, and not have to worry about anything. So that's the biggest thing.
That's interesting. We were just a couple of weeks ago, we were in here with Joe, and he was talking about, and we were doing a little training series on the benefit of warranties. And you know, I was sitting there. I've seen all of our training. You know, I've gone through all that stuff. I've talked to a bunch of guys about warranties. So like, you know, I have it in my mind. But even with all of that, I was sitting here, we were filming it with Joe, and he was going through, and he was like, you know what, let's break down the numbers. And it was mostly aimed at owners and leadership of saying, hey, here's why you should push warranties on your techs, or push your techs to be educating about warranties and to be adding those into the solutions. And he was breaking down the numbers, and I was sitting there going like, geez, these are big margins for people. And beyond that, if we're then going back to the pure motives, it's not just big margins for company, for tech, it's great margins on peace of mind for homeowners. And then just being able to have that follow up and making sure that you have the infrastructure then to follow up on those warranties is huge. But he was doing this presentation, and I'm sitting there, you know, having just read through a bunch of stuff previously, and I'm still sitting there shocked going, oh my gosh, like, why are all of these techs so wary and like warranties, whatever, you know, it's one of those things. So I want to know one of the pieces of advice that you would have for techs going out there and presenting those warranties. What are some things that you would go and do yourself?
I think the biggest separation that you have to do as a technician or any service professional, even a salesman, right? So when you present a warranty, a lot of people think of like a car dealership, right? When you talk about a warranty, and most people do not want to buy an extended warranty at a dealership. Let me tell you, I know I don't. The way that they push it on you, like, hey, if you don't have this warranty, we're not going to take care of you. They don't ever, they try to sweeten the deal with the warranty, but it's not in a, it's not looking out for you. It's looking out for them. So when you phrase it in, hey, this warranty, this is going to help you as the customer have a more quality, reliable service, and it's going to help the health and safety of your home and your family, and it gives you more time that you don't have to spend worrying about calling another company and waiting to come out and make the repair or the service on it. And it's hard for people to understand too, because if you spend really good money on this equipment, and some of the equipment nowadays, people don't realize, but everything has a shelf life on it. So, and I actually learned this in the class this week for one of the other technicians I was talking to. GE, back in 1950s, when they developed one of the first early refrigerator models, they developed one that was meant to last forever. And they actually got away from that and realized, wow, well, if this lasts forever, then we can't make a new product and put that on the market. So how long are people going to keep this fridge that lasts forever? They're not going to buy another one. So people don't realize that every piece of equipment built nowadays, unfortunately, I wish I could control that, but it all has a manufactured shelf life. So having that additional warranty just ensures, these companies, if they do put a manufactured shelf life on the equipment, everything has it, right? Production is not really getting more reliable. Everything's going on to, it's going to last you 10 years. Then we're going to look at another option for you.
Yeah.
So if you can offer a warranty that bests that company's manufacturing ability, I think it's a no-brainer for the customer.
Yeah, and I think that's also when you explain it to a customer like that, then you're taking the pressure off of, hey, I'm offering this warranty because my services at Woodfin aren't top notch, because I feel like that's what people feel like they're getting into is, let's get into this warranty because my work is not going to last that long. It's no, let's get into this warranty because the parts outside of anything that I have to do, if I was the manufacturer, I'd make parts that last forever, but I'm not. I'm the one installing the parts. I'm the one fixing the parts. So it's getting away from, the work at Woodfin is going to not last the warranty. It's the parts.
Exactly.
That's for the warranty.
And that takes me back to like the parts over service.
Yeah.
So, service
over parts. I got you.
So if I'm going ahead and I'm pushing just this one piece of equipment, say ream. Say I'm pushing a ream unit.
Yeah.
Well, that ream unit doesn't matter that it's a ream, right? Matter who's installing and servicing that ream unit.
Yeah.
So if you have a guy who comes out, we call him Joe Blow down the road, comes by, throws the ream unit in, and then never answers his phone again, it doesn't matter. You got that brand new ream unit. It might be the best unit on the market, but if anything happens in that 5 years, no one's going to come out and take care of it for you, right? You need a company that's going to stand by that product they installed, and not only standing by the product, but standing by their service and their serviceability to be able to respond to the issue, because everything's inevitable. Something's going to happen to that system or that product, and you're going to have to go out there and possibly repair it.
Yeah.
Especially, like I said, man, things are not built as good as they used to be back in the day, and trying to explain that to a customer and phrase it, hey, we understand your concerns with that. We understand because we see that on a day-to-day. Repairs are going to have to be made across the lifespan of this piece of equipment.
Yeah.
So our service is going to take care of that for you, not just the product or the manufacturer. We're going to go the extra mile to provide that quality service.
It's kind of the perfect crossroads of it's providing options and pure motives. It's saying, listen, this part isn't going to last forever.
Right.
So what can we do right now? Can I take care of you right now? Or would you prefer to get that part completely replaced?
I'm trying now to get onto like the school board of Chesterfield County schools. I want to get into the kind of technician side, young technicians getting into the industry.
Okay.
Because, I'm sure Service MVP knows there's not a lot of new growing trade technicians. Yeah. And I think electricians were down like 438,000 across the country.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
And we need that in the next 15 years to keep producing these homes and, advance in society. So same with plumbers. I think we're down almost 500,000 plumbers.
Jeez, I didn't know. I knew it was across the board. I didn't know it was that much, though.
That's crazy. It's a lot. So if you think about it, and I think it's like 10 to 1, right? So you got 10 guys leaving the industry, only one guy stepping up to take the place. At some point, it works out for us, right? Because, of course, we're more valued now.
Supply and demand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but I think it's real important if we want to keep, progressing in society to have that avenue, more people talking about it. Yeah. That's really the problem.
I love that. That's amazing. So I sort of taking it away from that specific aspect a little bit. What outside of, your day job, 9 to 5 or whatever the hours are that you have, outside of that, what are some things that you're doing? What do you have going on in your life right now?
Yeah, man. So most important thing that I try to focus on is give people the same opportunities that I was given. Like I said, I came from a good quality school system. Again, all school systems are going to push you into that college mindset.
Yep.
But I think it's more important. We need to try to stray away from just focusing on a college mindset. We need to focus on a trade and technical school mindset as well.
Yep.
I know a lot of successful kids that came out of the technical school. I'd like to say myself included on that.
Yeah.
I just think it's really unfortunate that now we do not push tech training as much as we should. So I've been trying to get more involved in the school systems, going to the local high schools, even middle schools for career day, and try to propel the trades on a different level and put that in younger kids' minds that, hey, you don't have to go ahead and take a loan out for $100,000 when you graduate from high school. Most people, of course, they don't have the money to pay and go through college, and we're pushed through all the years of school that college is that only option. I want to make sure, same how we present the customer with 6 options, why aren't we presented that in schools, man? It's crazy, right? So I think we should go ahead and present these kids with more options in high school, because you really can start your career from there like I did, or like a lot of other people at Woodfin did. And it really set us up for a quality career. I mean, I bought my first house at 20 years old. Never would have thought I'd buy a house at 20. I know it's really hard, especially nowadays. But I can tell you right now, without me getting into a trade career, I wouldn't have propelled myself to the point I am now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What does that look like for you when you are showing up to these schools, when you're interacting with your community? Like, what kind of stuff are you doing?
Yeah, so what we do, I've been going and I'll talk to like the kids at the school that I went to, James River High School. So we still have a technical center in place in Chesterfield County schools.
That's nice.
And you can pick in your, I think sophomore year, you get to pick kind of what avenue you want to go down at the tech center. And it's not even just, electrical, plumbing. They have carpentry. They have nursing. So you can start your career in like pre-med at the tech center in high school. That's phenomenal.
That's
I know
amazing.
a lot of girls who went through that, a lot of guys who went through that I'm still close with, and they came out with really high-quality careers right out of high school, didn't have any debt to their name. That's the most important thing. And it's a shame we also got away from teaching economics in school. Well, at the tech center, the program I went through, they teach you how to build a basic resume. So
that sounds like just a whole resource that really not a lot of people have access to.
Right, yeah, and
That's
it's a
amazing.
shame. So when I go there and talk to the kids so what they do in the school system, they kind of have like a tech center day where they present all the younger kids to the tech center, and they're like, hey, this is what we offer. Most of the kids head down, kind of sleeping with their headphones in while they're just going through the motions. And I try to get them engaged. So if you can really break them out of their shell and say, hey, I started at 18 years old. Man, don't you guys want to, come out of school and have some money in your pocket? Go ahead and take your girl out. Go have fun. And also you learn, and most of these companies, they pay for your whole schooling. So you might think, oh, college, 4 years of school. I've been told I need that bachelor's degree. I mean, there's really no different of me going through 4 years of electrical schooling, and I came out with my certificate through the state to become a journeyman electrician. So if you come out of school with that same level of certification, your journeyman's compared to your bachelor's, it's really equal as far as the pay that you get in a career. You can jump right into your career field, and they're going to pay for everything for you. You can't beat that.
What are some of when we're talking about kids, I mean, kids are tough to deal with a lot of the times. What are some of the resistances that you feel like when you have those days? Do you feel like you said, that got the headphones in, got the hoodie up, tuned out? What are some of those challenges that you come across? What are some of those barriers that you have to get past?
I think some of the biggest challenges with trying to present it to younger people is getting them to see your point of view on it. So there is a lot of people who were in situations like probably I was as a kid, right? Who had a father who was working really hard, father and mom trying to take care of him, or you have a kid who didn't have a father figure in his life. He didn't have a mother figure in his life, right? So trying to show them like, hey, these are guys that have went through that process and didn't have that person in their life to do it, and the trades transformed their lives and made them a better person at the end of the day. My biggest fear, and I've seen it with acquaintances in school, and I try to share these experiences with them. I think the best way to learn is to learn from other people's mistakes, right? So you don't have to make them yourself. So I'll tell them, about people I knew in high school who kind of went through the motions like they did. They thought, oh, maybe I got to go to college because that's what I'm being told to do, and how their life turned out after that, right? They're stuck in a pile of debt. They don't really have an avenue that they can progress past that. And you almost feel stuck. And who wants to feel stuck in their mid-20s not worrying about, what are they going to do? Where are they going to live? How are they going to afford the cost of living? So if you can explain it to kids like that, they almost kind of like, wow, well, I didn't think about my future that far. I'm just thinking about tomorrow. I'm thinking about what's for lunch today. You know what I mean? So if you try to give them a different perspective and say, hey, man, I was in your shoes. I'd walk around. I didn't think nothing about, when I graduate high school. And you say, hey, you can really propel yourself and be better at a young age. You don't have to wait till you're 18. And this will give you kind of avenue, because I know guys who went through the electrical center, they're not electricians anymore. But let me tell you, it made them more successful. It taught them how to build a resume. It teaches you about the economics of, hey, when you get a job, how are you going to manage your finances, right? So some kids are naturally going to gravitate towards that because they're like, oh, wow, I can almost, even if I use this and say I want to go to college, I have more understanding than the guy coming out of high school and going through the 4 years of college, right?
Yeah, it worked on my work. I'm just seeing how stuff like, just like with that and total immersion, stuff like what you're talking about right now is those skills that are going to go beyond, okay, even if you don't go into electrical,
right?
Skills that go beyond that and teach you a philosophy for life, teach you practical skills for life, and really teach you, you know, a way of being that allows you to be successful, even if that's not the exact thing that you end up doing 20 years down the line or even 3 years down the line.
Of course. Yeah. It's one of those things too. When you say that kind of skills that we learned here, how to bring that into other avenues besides just being a technician, I'm going to use it as communicating with my management. So the way you communicate with people in general, this is going to help you kind of become more of a personable guy in the sense that you're not just running in bullheaded, right, with one problem. So you can almost use your 6 solutions. I'm not going to come inside the office storming in talking to my manager, oh, man, I worked super late today, right? I'm going to bring in a host of solutions too and maybe present things that I could have done better. Because people don't sit back and they kind of run in, especially in the trade. We're all pretty grizzled guys, right? Majority of tradesmen are. So when you approach situations outside of just your work and dealing with the customer, how are you going to talk to your managers? How are you going to talk to the guys that look up to you as a mentor? So it can almost teach you as a person how to handle those relationships as well. Yeah.
One of the things that we do here that every once in a while I'll kind of have a laugh about it is, you know, I'll be talking with someone on my team and all of a sudden they'll say something and they'll say, hey, like, thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. And then about 5 minutes later, I'll be sitting there and going, wait, you just gave me a magic moment. Wait, that's you just gave me a magic. That's what you just did. And it really is one of those things that it's like if you find these little ways of, oh, hey, we're not just learning how to sell whatever we're selling better. We're learning how to interact with people better. We're learning how to build community with the people who we're serving. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we can possibly learn. Total immersion at a service center, no matter where it is. So I just think that that's huge.
Oh, of course. Yeah. And can I share something with you real quick?
Yes, you can.
Yeah. So as far as it goes, I actually third day into training, right, Wednesday, I called my manager. So he came and did the manager training here. And he brought back some really good points. And I could tell he was very excited about what he brought back.
Yeah, you get pumped.
Right.
Yeah.
So I look up to him a lot. He trained me a lot in the field. I have a lot of respect for the guy, Jesse. So when he broke it down to me kind of what his ideology was, I was a little bit dismissive at first, like, oh, man, you're full of it. I see you're excited, but he's naturally an excited guy, right? So I'm like, oh, man, it's not that big of a deal. Whatever you did, I mean, cool. You know, I'm here with you to the end, but it can't be that special. But after going over the magic moments, I almost kind of sat back and I'm like, whoa, I might have not have presented enough appreciation for him on a day-to-day as a technician. And he gave me the opportunity to become a younger leader in the field. And I don't think I ever really appreciated him on that level for giving me that opportunity and that space to help my team grow. So I looked at it and I called him and I said, man, I gave him a magic moment, right? I said,
that's great.
You know, I really appreciate the opportunity you sending me here to this training. And dude, without that, I don't think, you know, the time I've spent with you in the field and throughout my career, I'd be where I'm at today. And, you know, saying something like that to him, it's like I said, some of these guys can be your father figure. That's like a father away from home, right? That you build with some of these senior technicians. But yeah, I mean, same with my CFO. She reached out to me, said, oh, I hope you're having a great time at the service MVP training. And I said, Jen, you know, I really appreciate the opportunity that you chose to send me here. That means a lot. And I can't wait to bring back some of the things I learned to help the team grow and advance here at the company.
I love that. And I mean, I can tell you that those are the conversations that it's like 10 years from now, they're sitting there going, man,
Yeah.
I remember that conversation with Zach. That was awesome. Right. Like how he reached out and those are the things that kind of stick in your mind for sure. Well, Zach, thank you so much for coming in on the show. Last thing that we do is just give us a shout out for Woodfin, where you guys are servicing, how people can get in contact with you if they're in your area, not in their area, but in your area. And just give yourself a little plug here.
Yeah, so Woodfin, your home team, we service all of Richmond, Virginia, basically all of Central Virginia. So we're starting to expand our service area a lot more. Yeah. We handle all electrical, plumbing, HVAC, whole home backup generator needs, as well as power washing. So we go into just about anything for your house, any solution that you need, we're going to have it for you. But as far as it goes, I mean, if you want a quality company that's going to come out and warranty their service, we offer a wide range of service contracts too, to where we can get a customer that might not be too sure about some of the smaller players, right? Yeah. A lot of these guys, they come out, or you see the signs, especially around the Richmond area, $50 service contract, have us come and take a look at your unit. Of course, you're going to be spending a little bit more on a service plan, but we go in a full deep dive on that unit for you, and we're going to ensure we're going to keep it running for a long time.
Amazing. Well, you guys do great quality work. It's been amazing to have this conversation with you. I'm excited to get you out there and get your graduation going. I'm sure you're going to absolutely rock it. Yeah. But thank you so much for coming in. And thank you all so much for listening. That closes out this episode. If you guys are interested, we talked about our total immersion courses that we do here in person. We also have a live streaming option. So if you are at all interested, or if you're hearing stuff that you find interesting and just have some questions or just want to learn more about it, please give us a call. Go to servicemvp.com and give us a call. Send us a message. Send us a DM on social media, whatever you're most comfortable with, and let us know, because we'd love to have a conversation with you. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.